Florida State finally gets back at home in Doak Campbell Stadium and thumps Virginia Tech, moving to 5-0 on the season for the first time since 2015. And they jump back up to number 4 in the AP rankings. They win convincingly with a final score of 39-17. And this was kind of another week where there were just a few weird things to discuss. So we'll just go ahead and dive into it. Now, like always, if you're here looking for negativity, this is not the place. For the life of me, I've never seen such a miserable fan base that's 5-0, ranked top 4 in the country, but I digress. Florida State started out dominant, and watching it, you're going, oh, finally. That's where this has been. That's what we've been missing. You jump out to a 22-0 lead in the first quarter, I believe. Johnny Wilson catches 2 touchdowns early. Trey Benson in the running game finally get going, and man, did he have a monster day on the ground. Jordan Travis has a few runs finally. You see our defense get some 3-and-outs, and really the defense had an elite day overall. Jared Verse had a couple sacks finally. And for the majority of the day, Florida State was the dominant team. Now, that second quarter gets a little dicey, and I'll go ahead and say this. At some point, we got to put an end to this absolutely ACC officiating. Jesus Christ, it was just horrible. The game was going in such a way that you kind of thought Florida State was going to hang 60-plus points. But on Virginia Tech's first scoring drive, Azareye'h Thomas has an absolute insane interception that would have probably made SportsCenter top 10. I mean, it was a leap and grab, and he showed crazy athleticism to get 2 feet down in bounds. But it was called back due to an egregious roughing the passer call. I guess because Byron Turner landed on the quarterback. I don't know. I don't know what he's supposed to do there. It looked like a clean hit to me. I don't know if they just expect him to disappear after hitting the quarterback. But either way, I thought it was a textbook tackle from where I was sitting. I don't know how you can throw that flag there. But that was a scoring drive for Virginia Tech that should have been wiped off. Mike Norvell is absolutely livid. A few Noles 247 guys tweeted out saying that they've never seen Mike Norvell so angry. And I can't blame him. It was pretty ridiculous. Especially considering on one of Jordan Travis's runs early where he goes down the slide, he's hit from the back in the head and a no call. Instead, I think they actually even called a holding on Florida State on that same exact play, but I can't remember for sure. Then you get another stop on defense. You start marching down the field. It gets to third down. They try to go to Ja'Kai Douglas, who just gets pulled down in the middle of his route. Should have been a pass interference call, no doubt about it. Otherwise, if Ja'Kai doesn't get pulled and is able to make that grab, with his speed, that could very easily be another touchdown. But instead, it's 4th down and you have to punt. So you have a possession stolen from that pick from Azareye'h Thomas, and you have a drive stalled on offense. That should have been at least a first down near the red zone. I'm not blaming the refs, but especially at that time, it absolutely changed the course of the game and essentially took points away from Florida State, giving them to Virginia Tech, along with a huge shot of momentum. Now, still, you'd like to see them handle adversity a little better. Despite the officiating, you'd still like to get off the field a bit faster on defense. You'd like to protect against some of those quarterback runs a little bit better. But the counter to that, I'll say, is for one, your defense got an interception. That's getting off the field in a big way, and it was just squashed by a bad call. But at that point, not only is it a bit of a letdown as far as morale, but the flag forces a new set of downs for Virginia Tech and gives them even better field position. So that means a longer drive for the defense, and now their job is even harder. So it's kind of a tall task to ask your defense to get multiple stops in the same drive. And on offense, you face some bad officiating there too, but giving up sacks, stalling drives, you can't put that all on the refs. This team still has some things they got to clean up. Now, especially that kickoff return to start the second half, that's not good. You cannot have that. Especially after all the adversity in the second quarter, Papuja seems to have them prepared better than that. However, they still came out and were able to finish the game easily. The defense pitched a second-half shutout, which no one is really talking about. And really, I know Virginia Tech scored 17, but the defense isn't the one who gave up the kick return. So your starting defense only surrendered 10 points. And again, I don't even think they would have gotten that many if the rest weren't just absolutely horrible. Now, easily the biggest bright spot of the day was Trey Benson finally gets going and rushes for 200 yards on only 11 carries, which I believe is the fewest carries in school history when having that many rushing yards. 200 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, which hasn't been done since Dalvin Cook was here, if that tells you anything. He broke off 2 huge touchdown runs. One was like 85 yards, and then the other one was like 62, 63, something like that. You love to see that after his slow start to the season. It just goes to remind you that when he gets going, he's very fast and very tough to bring down. And Virginia Tech got an absolute clinic on the running game thanks to him. So, like I said, good to see him showing out like that. Like we talked about, he had a bit of a slow start, and people, even myself included, were starting to get a little worried about that running game. But don't forget, he kind of did this last year. He didn't really come on as the premier guy until week 4, week 5. So it just kind of seems to be a pattern with him. But regardless, good to see that kind of performance. Hope it keeps up. And of course, it's obvious why he was the guy to break the rock after the game. His performance, especially in that second half, was also huge because he played that second half pretty much all without Jaheim Bell and Johnny Wilson, who are two of your top guys. Now, I think Jaheim Bell may still be a bit banged up from a few weeks ago, and Johnny got injured during this game after starting out red hot with the 2 touchdowns. He tweeted out after the game that he was good, so hopefully he's right. Hopefully it's just something minor and we have him back for Syracuse. So yeah, guys, I mean, it was a dominant performance, even though it may not have quite felt like it. It was at least dominant for those 3 quarters. You saw Jordan Travis break off a few runs. Trey Benson finally gets going. Your defense played incredibly well. Jared Verse got some sacks. Oh, and another quick thing. Conrad Hussey. You saw him flash some. And that kid's going to be good. He had a monster hit on a Virginia Tech receiver and then forced a fumble late in the game to close it out. I'll tell you, I think he should be in the starting rotation now, basically. I know he's young, but I just don't love Kevin Knowles back there. I think he's a little bit of a liability at that safety spot. And Hussey already looks so good. I think that kid's going to be a major stud going forward. But all that said, another good win for the Knowles. A lot of bright spots. Could have and should have been a more convincing win, definitely, but still a 3-score win. You love moving to 5-0 for the first time in 8 years. Top 4 in the country. And Miami lost to Georgia Tech in super embarrassing fashion. I don't know how you don't take the knee there and win the game. So yeah, it's a great day to be a Knowles fan. Talk to me in the comments. Let me know what your favorite play of the game was. You can let me know your concerns too, or you can just comment and talk crap about Miami. Either way, let me know in the comments, and let's talk Knowles.